Hello. So the video for this week I wanted to work on is sharing with you all how I healed my fear of abandonment wounds. I kind of want to provide a disclaimer here that I am going to touch on dark subjects here and it could be triggering for those. So if you don't feel like you can handle it, don't continue on with the video because honestly, confronting your fear of abandonment wounds, for me anyway, was the scariest thing I ever had to deal with my therapist. So I totally understand if you can't handle this video. And usually when you want to heal that wound, it comes at the right time. So I just want to make that clear. To provide context to my situation, growing up as a kid, I was neglected and abused mentally, physically by my dad, and my mom was pretty neglectful too. She was there sporadically, but she was also inconsistent. So, being raised in that kind of environment, you get the fear of abandonment wound and a lot of anxiety, and that manifests. And as you live through life, that stuff manifests and it really affects your relationships, friendships. It was really disruptive to my life. While not even realizing it at the time. You remain unaware of those things as you progress in life. And with me, those wounds eventually came rising up to the surface, causing me to have flashbacks, PTSD, severe anxiety, massive depression. It was just ugly, and it got to the point in my life where I realized I needed help. I needed help for this because it was affecting my job performance, and just I was deeply unhappy. There was a void in my heart and soul that it's just I recognized I needed help. So going to therapy and working through stuff, I wanted to share the tools my therapist provided for me to sort of heal and start living better and having self love and compassion for myself. So I hope the information I'm about to provide helps. The first thing is confronting the anxiety. I had anxiety produces irrational thoughts and fears. So, for an example, like I really didn't want to be around people. I would, my lifestyle would basically avoid that. So, I needed groceries and I would make sure I go to the store right when they opened. That way, as few people as possible that I had to interact with, because deep down inside, I always thought I was being stared at and judged, very self conscious. And my therapist basically gave me a sheet, and you would basically take a situation, right? And then take that situation and what thoughts through anxiety did that provoke? And that would be called an irrational fear. So going to a store while it's busy, I'd feel like everyone's looking at me and judging me. But the rational thought is everyone's there just doing what they need to do. They're nobody's really judging you or anything. So in every life situation that produces that negative emotion, apply a rational thought, which is getting out of the anxiety and continually practicing that method every day. And as the weeks and months go by, you get your self-esteem builds back up. You don't have that anxious feelings anymore. So the second thing is the fear of abandonment. So basically, through your wounding and all those dark negatives, that's your shadow side. We all have a light side and a shadow side. We all wear masks as a means of defense and so I was a people pleaser. I wanted to be liked. I wanted to be loved because I didn't really have that as a kid consistently to make me feel secure as a person. So I was deeply insecure, and I had this outdated belief where if I, tried as hard as I could, loving others and, trying to make others happy, then someday I'll be accepted and treated that way. And uh, it's not a Disney movie. It doesn't work like that. With my PTSD, I got flashbacks of not the physical abuse, but just being abandoned all the time. And that caused a lot of fear, and thought it was easier having the flashbacks with me and my therapist because she taught me to basically, with those flashbacks, to enter myself as an adult into that situation as a kid, and what would I do as an adult to soothe the child. That's inner child work. It might be harder for those that don't have flashbacks, but just have the underlying dark emotions of anxiety and fear. But if you can somehow imagine in your head that those dark emotions, that's your inner child there, and take yourself in as an adult, and what would you do to comfort that child? So it's a total self-love thing. You have to learn how to love yourself, right? Then you can start healing that inner child. And it's not just a one-time thing where you give yourself love that one time and then everything's going to be okay. It takes a long time and a lot of positive reinforcement, but as the weeks and months go by and you continue basically a feedback loop of self-love, you get stronger and stronger. You become in a flow state, and things all around you work out better. So you might be asking yourself, well, if I identify this, where do I even begin on being able to love myself again? You get so accustomed to pleasing others through your life. There is going to be a period where you feel lost, and you might be a little bit stuck on where to even start. And with me, I want to admit, like, I'd never believed in God. I let all the negative experiences in my life kind of, like, how could there be a God with all this pain and suffering going on in the world and with myself? In scripture, it starts within. The power of God lives within our hearts. So I started Bible study, and when you start healing that child wound, like, the Bible starts to really talk to you. And I started there, started reading scripture on basically how to treat myself and others correctly. I started there, and as the period went on, started finding myself, and then kind of I started to try to remember back to my childhood the joyful moments. Like, it wasn't all bad growing up, and one of my loves is baseball. So I started reinvesting myself in activities that revolved around that, and it started bringing joy back into my life. It's everyone's different. Everyone has our loves when we were a kid, but I would start there. When all the things were bad growing up, what did you like as a kid? And just start embracing those things and make hobbies that revolve around that stuff. And like I said, as time goes by and you keep staying consistent to yourself instead of others, then it will really start to heal, and put you in a real positive flow. So I hope this video was really helpful for you guys, and God bless you all until the next one.